What's up YouTube? My name is TheLazyTryhard and today we are continuing our libgdx tutorial series, and today I thought we'd go over some animations. So instead of making this cute little Mario guy kind of just like run around and we save his position and whatnot, I thought today that we'd kind of give him some legs and make him feel more lively and make him walk around kind of like what you saw in the Pokemon games. And this is the image I want to use. I don't really know which particular dude this was, but point being, we have a bunch of frames and a bunch of different animations that we're going to have to put into an animation, and essentially when we press a button or press like up, it'll do this one, this one, this one, this one, and it'll like loop through and we can like actually see the person walking. So I thought we'd do that, but first, because I'm going to be editing the player class and some of the things that I'm going to do are not serializable, I kind of changed the save player and the save and the read player a little bit. So I'm just going to go over it really quickly. These stay the same, the serialize and deserialize, again, pretty basic methods, but we're still going to, for the save, we're still going to have player, but I changed it to player position just because it was easier. Because all I'm going to save now is the player position, because we don't really need to save anything else as of now because our game is pretty basic. And all we really change is serialize player position dot get position. So it's saving the position and it's writing it to a file. I don't think anything else changed in that one. In the read player, we're going to return a vector2 now, and that's going to be the position. So it stays the same. And y'all, it should say cast it to a player. Change that to a vector2 so that it changes it to a vector2. And if you see anything different, anything else different in these two methods, go ahead and change it. I think that covered all of it for that. And then when we do our implementation for the, if it does actually see the file, we're going to actually create a new player now and set his position to the player.readPlayer. So it's reading the old position from wherever we started out. And I think that's it. We don't really change anything else, because if it doesn't have one, then it's just going to create a new one. So I'm going to actually run that really quick. There's a player data, and delete, and run. So if we do that, he's over here, saving player, and he should be over here. Yes, awesome. So everything works perfectly, and we can go right into the animation. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to create a bunch of different variables, and the first two being private. They're both going to be private static final ints. I know, fancy term, right? And we're going to call one of them call, or we're just going to say call, and we're going to set that equal to 4. And I'll explain this in a sec. This is also going to be another private static final int, and this is going to be row equal to 4 as well. So what these two, this stands for column and this stands for row, obviously. This sprite sheet is 4 by 4. So what that basically means is it's just 4 columns and 4 rows that'll hold things. And I can just, actually, I'll just open that up again. You obviously have this file. I'll put this in the description of the sprite sheet so we can get that all. We're going to do an animation, and we're going to just call this animation. Don't get really fancy with it. You got to import that, and make sure you do the first one, the G2D dot animation. We're going to want a texture, and this is going to be the player texture, and again, not serializable, so we're not going to save it. We have a texture region that's going to hold, or an array of texture regions, which is kind of like the frames. So like one individual frame, so like this guy. It's going to hold all that, and we're just going to call it frames. Where do you have everything? I think that's it. We also need a float state time, and I'll explain that in a sec. Don't worry about that right now, though. So when we get to this onCreate method, we're going to want to initialize these funny things, and the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to type in player texture, and we're going to initialize the texture This one, the character sprite sheet, and it's going to be gx.files.internal character sprite sheet.png, and make sure you spell it right and all that fun stuff, because if you don't, you're going to get an error. You're going to be pissed off. Okay, the next thing you want to do is we're going to have to, now don't be scared when I do this, but we're going to do a double array of texture regions, and that's going to be, we're going to call this static version of texture region, and we're going to call this split method. And what this is going to do is it's going to basically take this image and it's going to slice it into 16 different frames, and we're going to use that to put in our animation, or put into our texture region array that's going to hold all the frames. So the first thing is the player texture, because that's the thing we're splitting, and you're going to get in some weird logic here, but player texture dot get width, that's the width of the entire thing, divided by that would be rows. Yes. Okay. So what this is going to do is it's going to take the entire width of this thing, which is 128. I'll show that in a sec. But it's 128 long, and it's going to divide it into 4. So you have these 4 different columns. Actually, we're going to want to change this to columns. I just realized that when I visually did it, because it's going to split this up into columns. You see, divided by the, just bear with me on that one. Player texture dot get height. That's the height of the thing, and we're going to divide it by the rows. And this will work for like any. You can change the rows and the columns depending on how many frames you have in your animation or sprite sheet. So what you're going to want to do next is you're going to want to set walk frame, or I'm sorry, not walk frames. Sorry, I'm reading this off of something because, again, just bear with. This is going to be a new texture region, and it's going to be the call times the row. So it's 4 times 4, which is 16. So that's the amount of pictures we have, because the sprite is a, I guess, a rectangle or a square. So next, what we're going to want to do is do an index, and we're going to want to equal it to 0. So what an index will do for us is it will determine what frame we're adding to the frames thing. So it'll be the number in here, which I'll I'll explain it right now. So we're going to want to do a for loop that is equal to, give me a second here. Oh, I'm sorry, we're going to want to do 2 for loops that basically will cast, sorry, I kind of heard something in the background of my thing, and if I die here, that would be sucky, because I want to get this video out. So if I get this video out, I'm not dead. I hear some chatter in the background. But what this is going to do is basically assign all the textures in this split, what we did up here, and splitting up the textures into different frames. It's going to cast it into the one, or the single array that we can then use in our animation. So again, this is going to get really complicated, but just don't worry about it. Just stick with me here. Equals TMP I J. So basically frames, so the first one would be 0. Frame 0 would be the first image that is split up. So it would be this one. This would be image 0. And then so on and so forth, because this would iterate, and then it would continue on going blah, 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 blah. And finally, we want to put that animation into effect in our animation class. So we do 0.2, yeah, we'll do 0.2 or 0.25 for now. Basically, this is the speed of the how fast it'll go through each animation, and the frames is the texture region array. finally, we want to set state time to 0 and 0f actually. So basically, that's state time is going to deal with how fast or how the computer knows when to go through the animations, which we're going to actually set up here. So state time or plus equals, so it's going to compound gdx.graphics.get delta time. So this is basically 1, 2, 3, like every second that goes by, state time will equal that. So if 1 second goes by, state time will be 1. If 2 seconds go by, state time will be 2. And what we're going to want to do also in the update is, actually we're going to set current frame to current frame equals, what would the 0? Okay, current frame equals animation dot get keyframe 0. Okay. Let me see. Current frame cannot resolve this variable. Why not? Texture region. Oh, we didn't. I'm sorry, we didn't declare it up here. You wanted to declare a texture region that would be current frame. I always do that. But that's basically the specific frame that we're going to be projecting on the screen. So that's right now. That should work. I'm banking on the should. But what we want to implement is the getter setters. We don't really need. We need that. You know what? Screw it. Ish and giggles. We'll do that. So we have them all set, ready, and get and whatnot. So now we can. So we have the player.update, which is still going to update. But instead of Mario, what we're going to do is player.getCurrentFrame. I'm an idiot, guys. Instead of, I had an I here, and I'm sure you guys did too, and you're like screaming at your screen, but that's supposed to be a J, because we're iterating J, not I, and I do that all the time, and it kills me, but it's those little bugs that really get you. So when we do this, we got this dude right here who's all cool and herpaderp, but he can move. He's not moving any, but when we hit the keyframe, it's not really doing anything. Save player, and we still have the same position, or excuse me, the same position as we left off, but we want to set those keyframes because, I mean, it's cool if it works, but like, you know, we actually want the guy to walk. So that's what we're going to do next, and simply put, we're basically going to just change it in the controls method, and if we do W, that means we're going up. So we want to count 1, 2, or 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think that's right, unless I counted wrong. No, okay. So the 12th frame. So we're going to basically do this, and it'll be the 12th, and that should be it. So if we hit W now, it should go that. It goes to, let me see, it goes to that one, I think. Nah? It goes, which one? We gotta like identify. Yeah, it goes to that one. So we kind of just have to play this by ear, and let's set that to 10. You kind of have to guess and check every once in a while. But like, again, okay, it's still, oh, I know what it is. Okay, this animation thing, we have to set this to 1 for right now, and the animation is going to go really slow, but just deal with, yeah, see, now it's 12. So we're just going to go off the animations going on for 1 second, which is really slow, but I just want to get the key concept down for this for you guys, so you can move on with your lives, and I can go to freaking bed because it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I got work in the morning. But we're going to do this for all of them. So A would be to the left, which is 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. So that'd be the 4th one. So 4. S is down, which would be 1. S would be 1, or excuse me, 0. And they're kind of increments of 4. And then this one would be 8. So generally speaking, we got a moving guy, dadgummit, y'all's S should be messed up, or y'all's D should be messed up, and y'all's W should be messed up. Again, guess and check, just kind of W and D. So you kind of just got to replace those. That'll be 12, that'll be 8. And hopefully this time, yep, now we got a walking player. He's moving, he's leaning to each way, but he's not iterating at the rate that we kind of want him to. So that's what the next part will do. And to do that, we use this state time method. So what we're going to actually do is plus state time. We're going to add that to all of these. And it's going to act really weird at first, but once we add a quick if method, it's going to work perfectly. Because if we do this, it's going to walk. He's going to walk. Oh my gosh, he's walking. He's walking. He's walking. Oh, but he would. What? He's weird now. Oh my gosh. Now when I move, yeah. So you gotta set the state time. Trying to think of the best way to do this. Okay. Let me see. If state time, because like I know the way to do it, but like I'm trying to think of like a better way to do it at the same time. If time is less than 4, else I kind of go on these like tangents. State time equals 0. So it's kind of like clearing it out. Would that work? Oh, 1, 2, 1. Okay. So it works generally. So basically what I'm doing is it adds to the state time. The state time is always incrementing by 1, so that each second on the 12 the state time will be 1, so it'll be the 13th frame. But then when it gets to the last frame, which would be like the 4th frame, it'll go back to 0, so then it starts out this frame. So it kind of creates like a looping pattern, and it'll like do its cute little animation, but it's too slow. So we're gonna change this, and it's gonna act really weird, but you're basically gonna have to divide everything by 2. If you do it at half speed, you're basically going to have to divide all the frames by 2, because it'll go at like twice the speed, and I think that'll do it. Yes? Okay, I mean, uh-oh, we got a guy doing like the okay, we got a guy like doing the moonwalk or something. So we kind of have, you kind of got to work out the errors before you kind of figure this out, but I hope you guys got the main concept down. I'm going to like refine this. Okay, so he's walking, he's walking, he's walking, he's still walking, he's still walking. Yeah, he's still walking, he's not moonwalking. Okay, so let's just keep it at this. You guys get the picture, you get the idea. Play with it, do whatever you want with it. But that's kind of like the general idea. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please do like, please subscribe. I will try to get out as many videos as I can. I'm going back to college on Monday. Not this Monday, next Monday. So I'll crank out as many as I can. I kind of got to like pack and do all this fun stuff, but I'm definitely going to try to make time for you guys. So please, thank you for watching. Please rate, subscribe, comment, blah, 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 and I'll